If you're considering moving to Austin, this video will give you insight into the city's pros and cons. As you might know, Austin has a unique personality unlike any other city in the country. I'm Nick Garcia, your favorite Austin realtor, and I work in every part of the city. I've worked in almost every neighborhood, and my wife and I have experience in flipping homes, improving appreciation, staging, and design. My family of 5 and I recently moved to Westlake from Southwest Austin. We have lived all over Austin and have seen many changes in the last 11 years of living in this awesome city. Austin has been an evolving city and is currently in the midst of huge changes. The Austin metro area is constantly evolving and adapting to its growing population, which brings me to my first topic. Austin is a rapidly growing city. Austin, in the last 10 years, has experienced a huge population growth. The population continues to grow with no end in sight. This city has proven to be one of the best places to live in all the United States, especially during this pandemic, which helps increase the demand for people moving to Austin. The second thing you need to know before moving to Austin is the real estate market is bonkers. The inventory is at an all-time low in the Austin metro area. We're currently sitting at around 900 active listings, which is about 7 to 10 days of inventory. A normal market is about 6 months. That means if no more homes were listed in Austin, we would be out of inventory in 10 days. I told you, it's bonkers. Homes in Austin appreciated at nearly 25 to 35%. where normally we have a 5 to 8% appreciation rate. So if you bought $1 million home today, in February of 2022, it would be worth about $1,250,000. That's $250,000 in appreciation in 1 year. Seriously, what are you waiting for? If you're planning on moving to Austin, do it sooner rather than later and buy a house, any house. Take advantage of these appreciation rates and enjoy Austin. All right, the third thing you need to know before moving to Austin. Austin has an awesome, lively nightlife and great happy hours. Austin, Texas, they love to have fun and love to drink. Dive bars, rooftop bars, dance clubs, music scenes, happy hours, and more. So I'm gonna give you a couple of streets that are very popular. One street is Rainy Street. It's a popular destination south of Cesar Chavez. This is basically used to be a neighborhood. It was converted into bars and restaurants, which means you can easily walk from one to the other and be surrounded by endless options of craft beer, craft cocktails, food trucks. Your best bet to get your Rainy is to get a cab and you can have them drop you off right where Cesar Chavez and Rainy Street are. Now, the infamous 6th Street. There are a few different sections of 6th Street you should know about. There's West 6, that runs from Congress Avenue and consists of higher end restaurants and bars. Popular bars like the Dogwood, it's a dog friendly establishment. Little Woodrow's, Key Bar, to name a few. A few amazing restaurants include Clark's Oyster Bar, Windflow, it's a great live music spot, and Italic, a rustic Italian restaurant. And then you have what they call Dirty 6. It's that street your mother warned you about. That is, if your mother was ever specific enough in her warnings to single out a specific part of 6th Street. This area is the famous 6th Street we all have heard about. It's typically shut down on the weekends for cars, and you have a extensive police presence there. I recommend seeing this area once just for fun, and then if you enjoy it, go back. If not, then there are plenty of other places for you to enjoy. Typically the 6th Street is for the younger crowd. And then you have East 6, which is rapidly changing. It refers to the area just east of I-35, very popular spot among musicians and those in the know. I don't like to use the term hipster, but it was once christened that by Forbes in a recent article. The White Horse is an east side honky-tonk filled with old and new movers and groovers. You can catch live music, and there's also a really cool hotel called Hotel Vegas. It's a favorite among local musicians. It has a huge outdoor sitting drinking area and a food truck for those late night snacks. The fourth thing you need to know about moving to Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas, the people, they love their dogs. almost more than people, I feel sometimes. Me, growing up in South Texas, we always had dogs and we left outside and they were never allowed inside. We fed them table scraps and loved them from a distance. I've never lived somewhere that dogs are held in such high regard. It's crazy. People rarely leave their dogs outside in Austin. Everyone seems to have at least one dog and they are treated like family members, as they should. And speaking of furry friends, here's a picture of my two dogs that rarely go outside. King Leonidas, we call him Leo, and Queen Elizabeth, we call her Lulu. If a homeless person in Austin has a dog, I think people are more likely to give them money. Recently, it was a drive for blankets for dogs. I don't remember hearing about a blanket drive for the homeless, but I'm sure that exists. Based on my experience, dogs seem to have equal rights as humans in Austin. There are wonderful dog parks all over the city where locals meet and let their dogs play together. If you want to move to Austin, you better love dogs. Speaking of loving things, Austin loves brunch. That is thing you should know number 5. We love our brunches almost as much as dogs. My wife and I, actually our first date was brunch at Fonda San Miguel, which is a $40 a plate brunch buffet. I was so broke when we met, I was barely spending $40 a week on food, but I really wanted to impress her. And of course, she was totally worth it. Anyway, my family and I rotate a few different brunch spots every weekend at Kirby Lane, Gloria's at the Domain, and Jack Allen's. Then on special occasions, there are hundreds of other brunch restaurants and options. Like I said earlier, Austin loves to drink. They love their mimosas and crazy looking Bloody Marys. And after you have brunch, you can go to one of the hundreds of outdoor activities Austin has to offer. That is number 6. So a very popular spot to go is Town Lake. It's a perfect place to get your outdoors on while in the city. Austinites flock to the 10 miles of hike and bike trails surrounding Town Lake. Kayaking, canoeing, and paddleboarding are also fun options you can enjoy on the lake. Just stop by one of those rental places nearby to sign up and grab whatever you want. But boat cruises are fun, way to see Austin from a different point of view. You can take a special bat tour to see the famous bat colony under the Congress Bridge. And if bats aren't your thing, there are several good sightseeing tours as well. Of course, we have the Barton Creek Greenbelt. The Greenbelt, as you probably hear, it is referred to as a about 7.5 mile stretch of public land. It begins at Zilker Park and extends southwest to the end that is commonly called the Hill of Life, which ends in the woods of a Westlake subdivision. There are multiple access points to the Greenbelt, so be sure to find the one that works best for you and your crew. There are also a few swimming areas as long as there's been enough rain. They're dry a lot of the year since it's hot here, such as Sculpture Falls. We used to live a mile hike from Sculpture Falls. It was really pretty. And they're both impressive and necessary during the hot Texas summers. There's also the Barton Springs Pool. Located inside of Zilker Park, Barton Springs is a natural pool fed by underwater springs that maintains a temperature of about 68 to 70 degrees year-round. This is a really popular Austin attraction. It attracts all walks of life, all types of people, and serves as the perfect summer destination. If you're headed outdoors, then you need to know something. Like I said earlier, Austin is hot most of the year, and that is thing you should know number 7. You wouldn't know living here this last winter, as we had snow twice, which is unheard of. And in February, we had the worst winter storm in 60 years. Half of Austin lost power and water. Thousands of busted pipes, car accidents, and issues all around the city of Austin and really Texas and a large portion of the country. It was crazy. It was highly unusual. For the most part, you can expect hot and humid weather, even during what we call the winter. Right now, it's fall, and we're finally getting our first cold front. It's been really hot and humid. A year or two ago, we broke the record for most consecutive 100+ degree days. During the winter, right before spring, you could have one day that dips below freezing, and the next day it's in the 80s. You'll leave home in a winter coat, and then you'll come back in shorts and sandals. The 8th thing you need to know about moving to Austin. Just like in real estate, we say location, location, location. A lot of people in Austin say traffic, traffic, traffic. Even good things go bad. And with the great influx of new residents, traffic in Austin is only getting worse and worse. However, I will say during and even after, I guess we're still technically in the pandemic, but traffic has really improved a lot. But unfortunately, the transportation infrastructure just wasn't made to handle this kind of population growth. When choosing a place to live, it's worth seriously considering your expected commute time to and from work. And this is probably the biggest complaint people have about living in Austin. However, with all the amazing positives Austin has to offer, traffic is really the only downfall. Traffic is a very important thing to consider, like I said, especially in this real estate market. So if you're house shopping and you have a budget of, say, under $400,000, it's almost impossible to find anything in the city. And if you work in the city, you're going to have to seriously consider the commute time, because you'll be buying a house, 20 to 40 minutes outside of Austin, if that is what your budget is. So it's just one of those things to think about. All right. The ninth thing you should know about moving to Austin, and my wife and my mom and my mother-in-law love this one. In Austin, you can shop till you drop. Austin, while it's not really known for being a shopping destination, it does have plenty of cool options for buying what you need. You have the North Loop area, which is located in central North Austin. It's a strip of fun vintage stores and bars that are located within walking distance of each other. Room Service Vintage is a dream for vintage furniture and home decor lovers. They have an outstanding collection of top-notch finds, pendant lights, all types of cool stuff. Revival Sunday Market, I think, which is a popular pop-up shop featuring local artists and vintage vendors. You have Burnett Road. It's a main shopping area on Burnett, runs from 44th Street to North Loop. There's a lot of good options there. Of course, you have the Domain. It's a huge shopping destination featuring upscale stores, as well as some affordable favorites, like we shop at H&M, that type of stuff. A recent addition to the area called Rock Rose is a hot spot for young professionals and entrepreneurs. But there's a lot of high quality type of shopping there. Then you have the Hill Country Galleria, which is out in Bee Cave. Nice, also upscale stores, really cool vibe in that area. And the 10th thing you should know about moving to Austin, we're almost halfway there. Austin has amazing restaurants. I've talked about brunch, I've talked about places to go, and even shopping, that type of stuff. But the local food scene is just unbelievable. Although it has, of course, like everything else, taken a hit during the COVID-19 pandemic, but there's still many dine-in, takeout, delivery options from delicious restaurants all around Austin. And the 11th thing, Austin definitely keeps it weird. Keep Austin Weird is a slogan adopted by the Austin Independent Business Alliance to promote small businesses in Austin. Between Austin famous homeless crossdresser Leslie, rest in peace, the Cathedral of Junk, Maria's Taco Express restaurant, and random graffiti all over the town, Austin weirdness does not disappoint. The 12th thing you should know about Austin, we are a very healthy and fit city. Austin is, I think, been coined the #1 fittest city in Texas. We have a young, healthy, vibrant, active community and low rates of chronic diseases like asthma, heart disease, and diabetes. One of Austin's features that makes it easy to be active is Lady Bird Lake in the middle of the city. Locals run and walk around the city and kayak or row on the lake, and tourists too. You can't drive a mile without encountering a group of cyclists. They are everywhere in Austin. And of course, we have plenty of gyms like Gold's, LA Fitness, Lifetime Fitness, and many local boot camps and that type of stuff. Lots of indoor fitness classes, dance, yoga, Pilates. I can't forget to mention Goga, which is goat yoga, where you do yoga surrounded by wandering goats. And sometimes I've seen they even end up on people's backs during whatever that pose is called. Remember, this is Austin, y'all, so we keep it weird and interesting. Aside from being weird, Austin really does have lots of art, culture, and more. There are all kinds of museums and things to do if you're interested in the art and, culturing yourself in different areas. All right, the 14th thing you should know about Austin, the skyscrapers, as you can probably guess with the population growth, are multiplying. If you needed further evidence, Austin's boomtown status, there are now at least 37 towers proposed for or rising downtown. I won't name all of them, the buildings currently under construction, but just to know there are plenty of cranes on the Austin skyline. A whopping 3.7 million of the 10 million square feet of office space under construction in the metro is happening downtown, according to the CoStar Group. To say the past decade has seen the rise in downtown Austin would be an understatement. The city's latest and largest building boom hit full throttle during that time. I do my best to keep up with all of Austin's rapid changes, but when it comes to commercial real estate and skyscrapers, I stay on the outside and focus on the residential side of things. The 15th thing you should know about Austin, and something, of course, that is leading to the massive population growth and companies moving in, Austin has tons of jobs. If you're moving to Austin, it's either because you already have a job or you're moving to Austin because you know there will eventually be a job. Late in 2020, software giant Oracle said it would move their headquarters here. And just a few days ago, Elon Musk announced that he is moving the Tesla headquarters here, and he's already started building the Cybertruck Gigafactory. In other words, if you haven't already moved to Austin, you better buy a house here fast. And especially if you're in the tech side of things, you should have no problem finding a job. The 16th thing you should know about moving to Austin is you definitely need to choose the right neighborhood. Austin is made up of many unique neighborhoods and communities, all with great amenities and unique vibes. The most important step when buying a home is determining where to live, and Austin has something for every lifestyle. Austin is also, like I said, a very active city with constant energy. There is always something to experience, learn, and explore. Throughout the year and any given weekend, there are events ranging from art exhibits to UT football to restaurant week to Formula One racing. So we have downtown Austin. So it's a historically business type district located on the shores of Lady Bird Lake. As I've said before, it's seen a crazy explosion of commercial real estate and businesses. We have Northwest Austin located north of 2222 and follows Lake Austin all the way to 620 and 183. Areas like Steiner Ranch, great neighborhood. There are several high occupancy roadways that make homes very convenient for commuting. We have North Austin, stretches from 2222 and continues to Round Rock and Pflugerville. Avery Ranch, lots of awesome neighborhoods with new construction. We have Southwest Austin neighborhood, includes Barton Creek, Travis Country. You have some country clubs around there. There's areas Calera and other types of neighborhoods towards that area. And if you keep going, you have Dripping Springs, which is also growing very rapidly. Lots of new construction homes, and school districts there are awesome as well. We have Central Austin neighborhood. Some of the oldest homes can be found around there. Terrytown, Pemberton Heights, Old Enfield. Lots of beautiful homes, old history. You're starting to see some new construction teardowns in that area. You're definitely going to have to be willing to pay up to be in any of those that I just said. We have the Lakeway neighborhood with the Lake Travis School District. Great school district there. Lots of beautiful homes. You get lots of really nice views, greenbelt type stuff. Then you have East Austin, which is currently in a kind of a redevelopment phase. Then you have the Westlake Austin neighborhood, which is home to Eanes School District, which is rated the #1 school district in Texas, according to niche.com. You have lots of neighborhoods in South Austin, very popular neighborhood, South Austin. Also, most of these areas that I've named are seeing kind of a redevelopment. Some of the houses either have some type of manufactured home or an older home that's being torn down, and then builders are putting a new construction on there. So lots of different really awesome neighborhoods to choose from when you're moving to Austin. Now, even though there are a lot of awesome shopping areas in Austin, Austin is definitely function over fashion. Austin was recently named number 18 on the worst dressed cities. Fashion is not really a priority for most of the residents of Austin. I love this about our city, but the older generation, not so much. My wife is a home stager and interior designer. If it wasn't for her, our house would probably still look like a bachelor pad. She has a unique eye for making the ordinary extraordinary. That goes for outfits too. While I can barely match my clothes properly. Good thing she buys most of my clothes. Take a walk around downtown and you'll see all different styles of outfits. I love our city's lack of fashion, as I have no interest in whether my clothes match or are in style. I'm more interested in being comfortable and dressing to match the weather patterns, and I suspect most of the residents here feel the same way. Even in the upscale restaurants in downtown, you'll go for happy hour or after everybody's getting off of work, and most of the people are dressed very casual, even at the fanciest of steakhouses. Now, the 18th thing you should know before moving to Austin, we're almost done. We do have a growing homeless population, which I suppose comes from the population growth. It's one of those things that just has a domino effect. With the growing city, you have a growing homeless population. According to the annual count of city's homeless population, we have about 2,500 to 3,000. But experts warn that these counts provide only a snapshot of the actual issue. To be fair, the crisis is really only happening in certain parts of the city. And there was recently an ordinance that was passed that prevented homeless from camping on certain areas of the city. And the city of Austin is working on remedying this issue by buying hotels, setting up tiny home type places, and having certain campsites. So over the last few months, I haven't really noticed that big of an issue, and they've really cleaned up a lot of the camping sites. So I think the city of Austin is on its way to doing a great job of controlling and really helping the homeless people, because that's it's not a crisis that they're there, it's a crisis that's happening, but it affects people in all different types of ways. But I figure it's something that you should know before moving to Austin. All right, number 19, Austin loves Texas, just like everybody in Texas. Everyone knows everything is bigger in Texas, and that includes Austin's love for Texas. All around the city, you can see how much Austinites love Texas. Number 20, what you should know about living in Austin. We do have some dangerous critters, spiders, snakes, that type of stuff, coming into Texas. We really invaded there, if you think about it, all these houses and the developments. This is really originally the snakes and all the animals' original home, Some neighborhoods in Austin have a overpopulated deer population. Those aren't dangerous critters, but they do cause issues with gardening and that type of stuff. But as long as you, when you're walking the greenbelt, you're just being precautious about where you're stepping, you probably will not encounter a rattlesnake. We also have the bats that go underneath the bridge, and that's actually a very popular attraction. But those also, unless you're walking into a cave, they're gonna stay out of your way, and vice versa. And of course, last but not least, the last thing you should know before moving to Austin. Moving to Austin is the best decision you will ever make. When I moved to Austin about 11 years ago, after a few months here, I found myself thinking, what took me so long? The top 3 reasons why I would recommend anyone moving to Austin: it's a great place to live and raise a family if that's what you want to do. There's always something to do. There's always a new restaurant to try, a new outdoor activity. During the fall, there's pumpkin patches, there's light shows at coffee shops. And the other cool thing about it is that there's always something to do for any type of experience you want to have. And there are people of all walks of life. And anytime you go anywhere, you're going to experience just the uniqueness that Austin has to offer. And of course, being in real estate, being a realtor for the last 6 years, helping people buy and sell real estate. I love Austin because the real estate market is great. Home values are appreciating. And so you feel good. You feel good when you're selling a house because you're really doing something great for the seller. You're putting more money in their pocket. And while the buyer might think, oh my gosh, I'm paying so much more for this house, the house is worth what the market pays for. And Austin has no housing crash or bubble. According to myself, according to other experts, there's no end in sight to this appreciation. Yes, the appreciation rate will slow down, but I don't see anything slowing down this Austin boom for the next 50 years. Call me a capitalist, but I like money as much as the next person. A good investment is a good investment, and Austin real estate is a great investment. I just purchased my second home in Austin, and it's appreciating at close to 30% in the last 2 months, and all the Austin neighborhoods are appreciating between 19 and 30%. It's incredible. With the latest Tesla announcement, there's a hot zip code that's appreciating at 40 to 45%, 78725. It is really unbelievable. So if you're still asking yourself whether or not you should move to Austin, then I didn't do a very good job of convincing you how wonderful a city Austin is to live, raise a family, have a career, and just be happy and healthy. The only reason I can imagine you wouldn't want to move to Austin is you already live here. So welcome to Austin either way. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel for more videos that hopefully are helping you in real estate and selling your home and buying a home. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you for the next video.